This is the enlarger station. In the enlarger station you have an enlarger. This is the timer, a piece of glass, and a piece of cardstock. To raise the enlarger head, there is a little lever here, a locking lever. You just squeeze it and the head can move freely up or down. So make sure it's right to the top and then release the lever and it'll be locked in place. Let's have a look at the timer. Now, not all stations have the same timer. Some stations have this type of a timer and some stations have this type of a timer. On this timer, there's a power switch right here, and you'll know it's on when the light is on, other than the red light going on. Power is on. If I want to turn the enlarger light on now, I press the focus button and the light will go on. Okay. I have no photo paper here, so everything's safe. Okay, so the light's on. Now you need to adjust the light. Okay, that's the aperture on the lens. If you turn this little dial on the lens, it will open and close the aperture. That's the opening of the lens. So when you have it closed all the way down, the light is very dim. And when you open up the aperture, you increase the intensity of the light. So what we want to do is we want to start with the aperture all the way open, so the light's at its brightest setting, and then we want to close it down 2 clicks, or we refer to the clicks as stops. So 1, 2. Now we want to make sure the enlarger is out of focus. Up on the side here, there's a very large knob. You turn that, and when you turn that, you can focus in and out. So what you want to do is, you want to have this edge out of focus, blurry. So I'll adjust that knob until it's blurry. Now I have to switch from focus to timer, and that turns the light off. The light is off. I can go and get this piece of photo paper to make my test strip. Okay, I have my piece of photo paper and I have my negative. So what I do is I take my negative and with the shiny side up, I lay it down on top of the photo paper and make sure this is in the middle of the baseboard. And I take my piece of glass, lay it on top, keep it in nice tight contact with each other. That's why it's called a contact print. And I'm going to put my black piece of paper on top. And I will set my timer to 3 seconds. And I'm going to do 3-second intervals. So there's a button here that's start. When I press that, it will turn the light on and set the timer. And the light will stay on for 3 seconds. So I'm going to uncover and I'm going to expose the whole thing for 3 seconds. And I'm going to take my black piece of paper and I'm going to cover up half of the first frame of the negative. Expose it for another 3 seconds. Then I'm going to cover up all of the first negative and hit it for another 3. Cover up half of the next frame, another 3, and so on. And you just keep doing this until you run out. Usually you want to have around 5 steps, so 15 seconds total. Okay, now I'm going to take the photo paper and I'm going to process it. Just leave the negative here. Don't bring it with you. Okay? Take your photo paper and shield it because other people will be working in here, and you don't want to fog your paper. Here's the timer that we use for developing. This timer runs continuously. If you see that it has stopped, all you have to do is reset it. Okay, so there's minute hand and there's second hand. So take the minute hand and just crank it all the way around to about 55 minutes. And press the start and it just runs. Okay, there are 3 trays here with chemistry in them. Tray number 1 has developer in it. Tray number 2 is stop bath. Tray number 3 is a fix. Tray number 1 being the developer is where we develop the image. This is where the image appears. Tray 2 being the stop bath is what stops development. And tray 3 being fixer. After we've fixed the image, we can take the print into the light. Okay, so it goes into the developer for 1 minute, then it goes into the stop bath for 30 seconds, and then into the fixer for 1 minute. And after we're done fixing, then we rinse it in the sink. We rinse the print in the sink. It's very important that we do not get stop bath into the developer, and it's important that we don't get fix into the stop. We don't want chemistry going this way because it will render the developer and the stop useless. Okay, so I'm going to start developing first. Make sure my timer is going. It is. And I'm going to wait for it to hit a number like 20, and it is. And I'm going to slip this in under the developer. And there are tongs here that you can use. Do not touch. These tongs are for the developer. Do not use them for the stop bath. Okay, don't use fixer stop bath, fixer tongs for the developer. Okay, so you can see that the image has emerged. Once I have finished processing and rinsing, we'll look at it in the light and we'll figure out which exposure time we should use. I've got about 20 seconds to go. Okay, so you have agitate gently through the whole time so that fresh developer is touching the paper, doing its job. Okay, so I've got a couple seconds left. I'm just going to pull this out. Just let it drain, okay, and then drop it into the stop bath. I always drop it in face down and then put the tongs back. Grab the tongs for the stop, agitate, and then immediately flip print over. Okay, remember we're in here for 30 seconds. More seconds to go. So when you're doing this, you always have one eye on the timer. Okay, I'm going to let it drain. Oops. Come on. And I'm going to go over to the fix, and I'm just going to drop it into the fix face down, put the tongs back by the stop bath, pick up the fixer tongs, agitate, flip. Okay, so we're in here for 1 minute. And it's important to agitate continuously for that whole minute. Okay, 5 seconds left. Pick it up, let it drain. And I'm going to put it in the sink to rinse. Now the water should be running here continuously. So just give it a really quick rinse because you want to take it out into the room. You want to take it out into room light so we can assess it. Okay, so a good rinse, and let's take it out. Okay, so here's our test strip. And you can see that it is lighter here. So this strip, this is our first exposure of 3 seconds, and it gradually gets darker. We've added 3 seconds to each, so that's 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. Now, ignore the pictures. What we look at are the perforations. Once the perforations have blended in with the black of the paper, that is the exposure that we're going to use. Now, the 3, 6, 9 second exposure, I can just barely make out, just barely, and the 12 second is gone completely. Now, it's probably, the ideal exposure is probably 10 seconds, but I want to keep within my 3 second exposure, so I'm going to just go with the 9. Okay, so we're going to go back in the darkroom, and we're going to make the real contact print now using 9 seconds. I've gone back and I've grabbed another piece of photo paper. Okay, again, make sure the photo paper's shiny side is up, and lay the negative shiny side up onto the paper. Okay, so shiny side up, shiny side up. Make sure it's on the paper completely, not like off like that. You want it to be on so we can see the whole thing. Then take your piece of glass, lay it on top. Now, I don't need this anymore, okay? So just put it aside. You're done with that. You're gonna expose the whole thing for 9 seconds. Okay, so you're gonna hit it for 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay, let's go. Okay, that's it. Take the glass off, put it underneath, take the paper, leave the negative here, and we'll go and process it just like we did before. Okay, before you start, make sure the timer is running. Okay, and I have the photo paper, and I'm going to insert it quickly and entirely under the solution. Don't drop it on top and let it float. I want to get it under right away. So when I drop this in, it's at the 35-second mark, so it goes to the 35-second mark again. That's 1 minute. Be careful when you're handling the tongs. Okay? The emulsion, the surface of the photo paper is very, very fragile when it gets wet. Okay? So you manhandle it, it'll scratch. And if you scratch it, you gotta make another one. Okay, we got 5 seconds left. Take it out, let it drain, drop it face down into the stop bath, tongs back, agitate, and flip right away. 5 seconds to go. Let it drain into the fix, face down, tongs back, pick up the fixer tongs, agitate, flip. 1 minute. Five seconds remaining. Pull the print out. Let it drain. And put it in the sink to rinse. Okay, you can give it a quick rinse and take it outside and have a look at it. Okay, so here's the finished contact print. Now it's important that this is washed for at least 15 minutes. So I'm gonna take it back in the darkroom and leave it in the tray in the sink with water running continuously. Yeah, that is how you make a contact print. So when you're all finished making your contact print of your negatives, you should have a test strip showing your 3, 6, 9, 12, up to about 15 seconds, and then your actual contact print, where you use the time from your test strip.